Hello all, it's James Johnson, aka Sulphurblade. Welcome back to my channel, and welcome back to Star Trek Fleet Command, as I'm going to talk to you today about the Amalgam. As you can see, my Amalgam just hit a ship. That's the main purpose of this video. Currently, I am running a special exocomp, which gives me 9,900% Amalgam plunder. I've been running it for the better part of, well, 55 minutes now, and I have 5 minutes left, as it's a 1 hour exocomp. As you can see, that one hit got me 971k of this plunder from the ships you find in this section of space here in Romulan territory, or this section of space here in Klingon territory. So I'm going to go back in here, and I'm going to finish filling up my cargo hold on my Amalgam. Right now, there's a little bit of space left. As you can see, there's only 9,202 here. When I attack it, I'm going to get more than 9,202, because it's kind of what the Amalgam does. It creates extra resources out of thin air, if you will, based off of its ship's special ability. Main purpose of the Amalgam obviously is for raiding people's stations, because it has this ability to create resources out of thin air. When you're hitting a station that has immense amounts of resources, you get extra on top of the hit, which means you can pull in a lot of resources in an attack. Now, as you can see, I finished filling up, so I got like 300k off of that hit when there was only 9,000 there in the first place. And that's because of the exocomp I'm running. So now I'm going to return back to station and show you kind of, I guess, the next steps. So in the Amalgam has its own section in the refinery. You have the Amalgam refinery here, which basically is how you're going to level up your Amalgam in the first place. When you get this is the resources that you hit those transports for. You then refine them here, and it spits out these two resources. This resource is used for leveling the Amalgam, and this resource is used for a completely different purpose. That purpose is to get all of these refits. And these refits have special things they do. Like, for example, if we click on this guy here, we can see that the refractive beam is used to unlock the refractive beam projectile, increases all penetration stats by 20%, costs 75 shards to unlock. So you may or may not be aware, but there's some skins that are just cosmetic, and there's some skins that actually do stuff. And while getting skins that actually do stuff is highly useful, like this increases critical damage by 5%, costs 50 shards to unlock. As you can see down here, it uses these green little tickets. Ship skin shard trackers. And you're like, where the hell do you get ship skin shard trackers? Well, that's a good question, because it's not very intuitive. Obviously, in your Amalgam refinery here, they're not here. Plunder gets you the exocomp that allows you to plunder those ships. Once you plunder the ships, you come back here and you refine them, and you get these 2 resources. You're getting this resource. Where do you spend it? How do you spend it? What does it do? Well, you could search the world over and never think, if I click on officers and I click on recruit, there's this new thing in my recruit officers section. Totally, nobody is going to think, yeah, that's where we're going to put the place to spend the resources from the Amalgam at, in the middle of the officer recruit section. Well, it sort of makes sense, because when you're spending this resource that you're getting from your Amalgam, you have the chance of pulling Honor Guard Wharf. So this is this is probably your primary source of getting a hold of Honor Guard Wharf, is through this Amalgam loop. Now there's some other things here. You can get some exicomps that are basically reputation exicomps. And then you also get these ship skin shard trackers. Aha! So that's where I use this resource, and that's how I get these things, so that I can then go back to the Amalgam refinery with those green tickets and spend them to get these skins in the Amalgam store. So the Amalgam refinery ties to that section under the recruit tab that's kind of hidden, and that's probably the most important bit that you're gonna figure out from this video, other than about the Amalgam loop in the first place. You may not have an Amalgam yet. You may be curious as to what an Amalgam does and how it's going to help you. So the two huge, I guess the two big things that the Amalgam is going to do for you is it's going to give you a source of getting a hold of these skins and weapons refits, so you're stronger, obviously. And then the other major thing the Amalgam does for you is it gives you a way of pulling Honor Guard Wharf. But most importantly, the Amalgam is your ship that you want to use for raiding stations. I'm going to just go ahead and start this. I'm not going to actually rush the repair, as my excomp is up. I don't have to rush back here. I've gotten my plunder for today out of the excomp. But anyway, what I do want to show you, and I'm not going to be able to show you that unless I speed this up, or am I? Well, wait, there's probably another way to skin this cat. Let's go to ships. And I bet it will give us details on the Amalgam here. Yes. So, take 0.01% of defeated enemies' cargo. This ability ignores your cargo maximum. So, what does that mean, in essence? Amalgam is a ship that can have a very, very, very spacious cargo hold. And as you level up the Amalgam, the skill changes from 0.01 to 0.1 to 1%. Well, not these exact numbers I'm saying. I'm just giving you an idea of the progression path. They're going to be different numbers. I don't know what those numbers are, as I haven't really gotten my Amalgam very high yet. But as the Amalgam levels up, this ability gets stronger. So because the Amalgam has such a very large and spacious cargo hold. Let's say it's sitting at 10 million cargo capacity. You hit a station that has billions of resources. Now your amalgam has grabbed the 10 million resources from that station and has created an additional 0.01% of those 10 million resources on top of that as magically created stuff out of the ether, and that's thrown on your ship on top of its full cargo hold. So your ship is running around beyond its max cargo hold with a huge chunk of the enemy's resources, and the process of hitting that enemy to get those resources created this other chunk of extra resources that came out of nowhere and is now sitting on top of the enemy's resources in your amalgam. It's a pretty cool ship. It's quite powerful. And it's the reason we lost the last incursion event. Was one of those the whale for server 102 had a very high level amalgam capable of taking billions of resources in one hit. And so when they were able to crack our whale, the amalgam hitting our whale did such huge points that it instantly flipped the score in their favor immensely, massively, because the amalgam becomes such a powerful raiding ship eventually. Right now, for me, it's not really that. It's a baby amalgam. I'm just gonna finish up my baby amalgam here so that I can give you an idea of what a baby amalgam looks like. So this is a tier 1. What have I managed to upgrade so far? I've managed to upgrade the cargo hold, the weapons, the mining laser, the shields, and now I have the stuff that I could upgrade either the warp engine or the impulse engine. Maybe I have the stuff to do both. The amalgam itself has pretty high warp range out of the gate, so upgrading the warp engines can get me out to 45 on a tier 2 ship. Tier 2 miner being able to get out to a warp distance of 45 is kind of crazy, right? Even the faction miners have difficulty getting that far out until like tier 6-ish. So amalgam can be a great deep space miner. You know, I think I'm gonna go with the warp engines. And yeah, I didn't think I would then have it. No, I do have enough. It's just okay. Well, we'll convert. And there we go. We're gonna tear up our baby amalgam for the first time. You get to enjoy this pleasure with me. Gonna do it instantly. And there we are. We're up to a tier 2 baby amalgam. Okay. The next level of cargo hold for me is going to raise it up from the cargo capacity of 575,000 to an extra 7,500. Doesn't seem like a huge amount. We're gonna look at what this guy does here now that he's tier 2. Mining bonus 770. That's not huge. Your mining bonus on, like, say, a faction miner is going to be 1,000 plus. So he's not the fastest miner. Protected cargo is not amazing. Cargo capacity at tier 2 of 1.68 million. Granted, right now I have a crew that's buffing this up immensely. I have my max cargo crew on this ship. So maybe I want to swap things out here. I'm gonna here, Stella, go there. Okay, we're gonna go over to, this is my crew for maximum protected cargo, not maximum cargo, and we'll just throw the amalgam into the slot here. We'll go back to the details and see how much that decreases the cargo capacity. Now we're down to 1.32 million. Still, at tier 2, 1.32 million is not a bad cargo hold. Granted, it's not a faction miner per se. Let's pull my faction miner back out. Here's my cavort. My cavort's tier 5 of 6. And at tier 5 of 6, I'm looking at 2.78 million. However, I can guarantee you that when I reach tier 5 on the amalgam, it's going to be a hell of a lot more than 2.78 million, because the amalgam is kind of the king of cargo capacity. So this has been a kind of a look at the amalgam, what you can look forward to. I should probably explain, how the hell do you get an amalgam? Well, there's two ways that I know of. Way number one is, I don't know if it's going to be up in the event store right now. Probably not. Yeah. So every Saturday there's an event called Cosmic Cleanup. This is not Saturday. We're not even close to Saturday. So the Cosmic Cleanup event store is not up here. But when it is, you can use the stuff you get for Cosmic Cleanup to pull amalgam BPs. I think it's something like 20 weeks it's going to take you to get an amalgam via that route through the Cosmic Cleanup store. I could be wrong. Might be 13 weeks. It's either 13 weeks or 20 weeks. It's a fair amount of BPs that need to be pulled. The other way is just to flat out buy it. So if you go to the store, it's going to be underneath special ship unlocks. And here's your amalgam complete unlock. $100 gets you the amalgam plus some resources and crap. And those are the two ways I know of getting a hold of the amalgam. There's probably a few events through, not your stock standard monthly events and not your stock standard weekly events, but there's probably some random big events, you know, the ones I'm talking about that happen like once a year. Some of those might allow you to get BPs for ships that are not in the normal, that are normally only capable of obtaining through Cosmic Cleanup, or maybe not even through Cosmic Cleanup. Like, I think Meridian is a ship that you can't get through Cosmic Cleanup, that you can only buy in the store unless some special event comes along. So I guess that's the third route of getting a hold of these BPs for the amalgam, would be some special random cool event. Personally, I just bought it. Don't think less of me. I'm a little beyond a light spender, kind of like a dolphin. I'm not a whale, not even close to a whale, but I do spend more money than I probably want to or should in this game. I sometimes chastise myself about the money I spend in this game, because every time I spend a little bit more money, I get a little bit more stuck in the mud. So this game becomes a hard game to walk away from because you've put this monetary investment in it. It's almost like a wife. You're getting trapped into this long-term commitment because you've invested X, Y, and Z, and you can't escape it. Or you could, but it's going to be painful. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. But yeah, that's been a look at the Amalgam loop, how you get it, what it does. So it gets you some ship skins, it gets you the ability to pull Honor Guard Wharf, and it gets you a ship that's got some massive cargo capacity, which makes it amazing for raiding bases. And that's pretty much the Amalgam in a nutshell. Anyway, I'm James Johnson, aka Sulfur Blade. Hopefully you found this content interesting. If so, please smash the like button, consider subscribing, and until the next time all, peace.